Taking it for what it is and being like, okay, let me break down where I could have possibly went wrong. Because I think a lot of people are so...
Are you talking about
Accountability?
Yeah. I am Gabby. I have been a personal trainer for almost 10 years now, which is insane. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter who is with me pretty much full time. She is the light of my life.
Welcome to the channel. We're your hosts. My name is Quentin Horton.
And I'm Aaron Curry.
And this
is Secrets to Sexy. When life told her she had to do it alone, she decided to show the world how much she could actually do. Single motherhood wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of her comeback. You ever meet someone and realize this woman actually knows themselves? That's today's guest. She's a trainer, she's a motivator, she's a mother, she's an amazing human being. And today we're going to interview her about some life things, right? What that looks like. She's going to defy and dismantle the myth that you have to have 2.5 kids, a picket fence, and a man in your life to be an amazing mother. We're going to talk about what motherhood actually means. And some fathers are out there thinking fatherhood's optional. It's not. It's absolutely not. And we're going to talk about that too. How do men step up to be good fathers? How do you be a good mother when you have single motherhood looming over you? And there's so much pressure and so many things to take on and think about. We're going to discuss it all today. So this episode's for women that are raising humans and themselves at the same time. And we're gonna talk about how to be intentional while doing that. So let's dive in. Today, we're having a warm welcome to Gabby. I've known Gabby since she was 20 years old. I'm not sure she had her first drink with me, but she definitely had her first legal drink with me. She's a close friend. But like I said, she's a motivator, she's a dope mother to a beautiful gem of a human who happens to be named Jim.
That's real, that's real. And the glow up was real, right?
Yeah.
You had one before and after picture.
I did.
Because you're a fitness trainer.
Yes.
And the internet went crazy.
It did.
But I feel like the real transformation that you had was when you became a mom.
1,000%.
Because it forced you to grow up in areas that you probably wouldn't have had you not had a beautiful child.
You nailed it, yeah. It's 10 times harder when you're a mom to take care of yourself, so yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive in, start asking a million questions because you know we have them loaded for you.
Yeah.
We always do a segment with a guest. When we have a guest on, we say, sell your sexy. And that's just telling us like what makes Gabby Gabby, what makes you sexy, what makes you the Kate model, the confidence, the authenticity, intelligence, presence, purpose, all of that. Like sell your sexy to the people, tell them who you are.
Okay, I am Gabby. I have been a personal trainer for almost 10 years now, which is insane. You've been around the same time, yeah. I have a 3.5-year-old daughter who is with me pretty much full time. She is the light of my life, and I have managed to balance work, mom life, and also pouring into myself. Yeah.
That's
Love
dope.
that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And that's what makes you feel sexy.
That is what
Basically,
makes me feel sexy.
Pouring into your daughter, pouring in the gym, pouring into other women in the gym.
Handling it all, yes. Uplifting others, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, dope, dope.
All right, so Gabby, take us back. You became a young mother, and you were single not even 6 months after postpartum, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure that was unexpected.
Yes.
And I'm sure there was a major shift that you couldn't prepare for, not just motherhood, but also just separating from the partner. Take us back, like what happened with that?
So I became pregnant with my daughter when I was 22, and I had her right before my 23rd birthday. So I was relatively very young. Her dad and I got into a relationship, I want to say for like 3 months before I actually became pregnant. So if you've ever been through pregnancy or you've had a partner that has gone through pregnancy, you know that there's a lot of changes in that and within a woman, like mentally, emotionally, physically,
Everything
all
changes.
of that.
Yeah.
And then also when you're in a new relationship, like you're still learning that person. So there was a lot of shifts going on. Around 8.5 months pregnant, I found out that he had cheated on me.
Oh man.
So that was the first.
That's like you were just about to create the child, essentially.
I was. So it was a huge like to the chest, to my heart. But I ultimately decided that I was going to look past it. Because I was, like you said, I was getting ready to have my daughter, and I wanted him to be there for that. I wanted to try to give it
the greater good,
that chance, because I was raised by a single mom, and I wanted my daughter to have that 2-parent household.
For sure.
So I had my daughter, and then 5 months postpartum, I found out again that there was infidelity and cheating going on, and that was the end for me. I knew that I couldn't look past it again, and I had to start transitioning into what it was going to be like to raise my daughter essentially alone.
Right.
So many women, and there's been men out there too, that think like having a child with someone is like the beginning of like this fairy tale.
Right.
Right. But you don't think about like if it doesn't work out the way you want it to, how you have to be a nurturer. Your body, might be a single mom, could be a single father. You have to fill all these roles for this human, this life you've created. Yeah. So can you talk to the people about, once you figured out, okay, I'm going to probably be doing this on my own, like what that felt like and what that shift was like for you?
So I knew fairly early on, just based off of some of the things that were happening in my pregnancy, that I was more than likely going to end up a single parent. Yeah. So I kind of started wrapping my brain around that reality very early on. And then of course, when the cheating kind of played into factor, I started, really bearing down as to what this new reality was going to look like for me. And some of the things that, I set myself up for success-wise to be a single parent was just knowing that when you get pregnant, and I said this on one of my TikTok videos that had gone viral, was when you get pregnant and you have a child, ultimately, and unfortunately in some cases, it always ends up back on the mom, right? Being a mother is like almost mandatory.
You're the backbone of the family.
Exactly. Being a mother is almost mandatory. The kids almost always gravitate towards mom because, and some people might disagree with this, mothers offer something that fathers can't. There's a certain level of nurturing that mothers have that
most men don't naturally have. Call a spade a spade.
So I had realized that, I was going to end up being a single parent and that I needed to set myself up as best as I could financially. I needed to have a place for my daughter to stay because I knew that all that weight was more than likely going to fall on myself. I leaned on my mom a lot for support. I actually talked about this too in a video, that she is essentially my co-parent. I don't know what I would do without her, if I'm being honest.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's nice that you have like a parent that can step in, because some people don't.
Some people don't, and I'm so grateful that my daughter and I have been able to lean on her while we went through that transition.
You said something about like how moms typically, it falls on the mom, and I agree with that 100%. I think that women, because my mother's my best friend, as everybody in this room knows, right? Like that's my girl.
Yes.
And she was able to be a mother and father for me, but I do believe outside of like the unicorns like my mother that have the capacity to be both, fathers do bring something that women can't bring.
Absolutely.
Just as women bring something that men can't bring to raising a child. So what is it that you feel, if you feel there's a void missing, you feel that a father should be able to provide for Jim that maybe you're not providing or that you wish you had right now? And what does that feel like whether you can provide that thing or can't? How does that feel as a single mom?
I think that, some of the things that I've noticed in my daughter already is she gravitates towards women. So she's not very open and receptive to men who have come into her life, or even with her dad. Her dad is in a relationship, and he'll tell me, and she'll tell me herself too, that she does X, Y, and Z with the girlfriend. Totally fine by me, because she treats my daughter amazing.
Okay.
As far as I know from what my daughter has told me, but I can tell that she gravitates and is more comfortable with women. So that's something that I know that my daughter is going to be, I don't want to say lacking, but kind of craving, is that male close relationship. And because she's been with me 24/7, and I'm the one who, takes care of her on a daily basis. And my family's also all women. She's around women. She's comfortable with women. That's who she gravitates towards.
Yeah, me too. My sister, my mom. I totally get that, and that can be scary when you like say it out loud, because you're like, okay, what happens when this little girl's 13, 14 and realizes that she wants attention from men? How is that going to be actualized in real life? So
one of the things, I went to therapy shortly after my postpartum cheating and all of that, because I really had a lot to unpack. And one of the things that my therapist had pointed out to me that made me kind of sit back as a mom was, she was like, your grandmother was a single mother, your mother was a single mother, and now you're a single mother. You chose something that you knew subconsciously was comfortable for you. You knew that by choosing this person, you would probably and more than likely end up being a single mom. So those are the worries that kind of run through my mind of, I don't want my daughter to repeat that same cycle. So yeah, I mean, there are things that I fear that she'll lack by not having a present father figure like in the home. Her dad is involved as much as he can be, but not where it's like, you know, if you have two parents in the house.
Right, not at that level. I feel like a lot of families have like a matriarch structure, and so what happens is a couple of things. Obviously, you don't get that masculine energy that can teach, instruct, protect, provide discipline. But also, I feel like for example, a daughter is not quite as socialized with men because she didn't have a present father to kind of show her what like real masculine energy looks like. And so I think when you come from because I used to date a girl that came from all single parents, and it was all women, there was no men and stuff, and the men that were around were terrible examples. So then it shapes their mind to make them feel like, well, I can't trust them. You know, they're kind of opposition to me, and I don't want to socialize with them. And I think part of the drawback to that, obviously, is that, you know, you don't take on masculine energy well. And when someone does try to instruct you, it feels like control, or not having the discernment to choose a masculine energy that is a safe space, because you're not socialized enough with it to know the difference.
You're choosing what's comfortable.
And you're making a guess. You're like, I never had an actual present father, so I guess this is the best
You're choosing
choice.
what you know, like what you've grown up with, what you've kind of seen and experienced, and I think that's where a lot of us, I was really young when I had my daughter, where a lot of us kind of are, I don't want to say blinded, but, you know, blinded in a sense to picking the best possible partner for having a child. With.
Like, so for example, if he was present, or even, you know, whether it was
More
your
present,
mother or your grandmother, and they had a real male leader, it's like, this is how men treat you, opening up doors, providing, protecting. You saw how he communicated. You saw how he regulated his emotions. And you saw that growing up. Then, going on to the dating world, you're looking for that. Like, if I can see somebody that can emotionally regulate themselves and they handle conflict well, and they're honest, and then this is the choice. And it's hard to really, we know this consciously. But on a subconscious level, it's hard to identify that when you haven't seen it and lived around it.
Absolutely. And you know, like I said, I grew up with a single mom. My dad was out of my life for majority of my growing up. He left when I was around like 8 or 9 and moved across the country, and he would come maybe once a year. So, but I always had a great relationship with my dad. Like, there was never any like, I hate him, he wasn't present.
Just wasn't that present.
I think now in my life and my daughter's life, he's made much more of an effort to be more of a stand-up, involved man.
I've seen him in videos and stuff,
so it's healed parts of, you know, me, my childhood, but also like getting to see, you know, bits and pieces of that with my daughter is also really special.
Well, what's beautiful is I think sometimes people think you can only have that male representative when it's the biological father. That's not the case. So like if your father can fill that void, or an uncle, or a brother, or whoever, you know, a friend, you know, and like that's very helpful too. You can still learn from another good man outside of you know, so keep that in mind too. But what do you think is the next step for you? Because the reason we wanted to interview you, I saw the little TikTok you did on the viral. You were like, I'm one and done. I'm never having another kid. And I was like, that's crazy. You're a good mother. And I feel like Jem would probably want a brother or a sister. I don't know if she's ever said that to you, but
she has.
Exactly. Kids at that age, they start, if they see it, they're like, oh, I want that. I want a sister. I want a brother. So are you going to deprive her of that, or are you just going to explain to her why you don't want that, or are you angry right now, so you're just saying that out loud, like, I don't think, or do you really say, are you really going to stay true to, hey, I'm never having another child because I went through this thing and it was too difficult to potentially go through that, because you don't know. Just like you didn't know having a kid with this man would end up the way it did, so you could pick a better partner on paper and have the same thing happen over again. So are you saying you're not willing to take that chance?
I'm not
and
saying...
look at the men when you say this. The men are watching right now. They're like, what's up?
I'm not saying that I'm not willing to take that chance again. I'll never say never, right? Because someone who's perfect or seems perfect could walk into your life and it could change your mind about things. But as of right now, I am so comfortable with just one child. Like, I do not crave to have another child. My daughter has filled all of my, maternal instincts, wants, and needs. And I know that I would be totally fine going the rest of my life without having another child.
That's fair.
Because I'm able to show up for her and pour into just her. If I had multiple that ended in the same circumstances where I'm a single mother to multiple kids, I don't know. Well, I do know. I would not be able to be the mother that I would want to be.
Yeah, you'd figure it out. But
I'd figure it out, I would be, spreading myself very thin.
Yeah. I do feel like, and I'm glad you said that because I think some women, they think so much about like, I want another child. And to me, like, kids are supposed to be the fruits of a good marriage.
Yes.
Or a good relationship at least.
Yes.
And sometimes they skip that. They don't really think about like, but who's the man behind that second child or whatever. So I think for you, part of the reason why you feel that way right now is because until someone's present in your life that would bear good fruit, like as far as like you guys' connectedness, there's no reason to like really fantasize about it.
Correct.
But you'd be surprised. I mean, technically we're all one person away from feeling different about it. So, but based on your experience, I can understand why you feel like right.
Yeah, no, I think there was a lot of obviously trauma and hurt that went into my journey thus far, and I think that I'm just very okay with where I'm at now. Also, the thought does go through my mind of, well, some people have this picture perfect marriage, but then 10 years down the line, they end up growing apart from each other or whatever happens, and they end up separating. And then that's even harder on the kids because the kids have known for 10 years, mom and dad in one house, and then it's one parent under,
In my opinion, I think it's always better if it happens the way it happened to you. It's
Correct.
harder on you, harder on the mother, but better for the child long term.
Because they never know a difference.
They never know any different.
I never knew any different with my dad. My mom and dad separated when I was less than a year old. So I never knew what it was like to have my dad in the household. And I honestly think as an adult, I can say that I would prefer it that way. And like you said, going through it myself now, it was definitely harder to do that postpartum because again, there's so many things that women go through postpartum. But I think it was better for my daughter for it to have happened when it did versus later on.
It's like when my Caucasian friends learned about seasoning.
I'm black. Oh my God. I'm fucking black.
Once you learn how to season food the right way, they probably they were like, no, what is this food? What is this? I love you. I love all my white people out there. But now for real, it's like you don't know until you know. And you don't know what you're missing if you never knew that you missed it. So I can understand that too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what would it take in a partner for you to, because right now it feels like that person would have to help you overcome your trauma.
Yeah.
Because you'd have your guard higher, and for good reason.
Yeah.
What type of qualities, because I know you learned from the last issue, what are the, I guess, top 3 qualities that you'd be like, okay, I'll take a chance?
Top 3 is
put
hard.
You on the spot
top,
right now.
Top 3 is hard. Honestly, I think some of the things that I held the most anger and resentment towards with my last partner was the lack of consideration.
Yes.
That was like a huge one for me. Like,
Selfish.
I was, and an example was like, I worked up until I was like ready to give birth.
I saw.
Yeah. And that was like, there was just a lack of consideration there of like, why are you not doing more to help? I'm here growing our child. Like, I want to be able to sit back in my feminine energy and relax. And instead I worked all the way up until I pretty much gave birth. And then I think I took a week and a half off and jumped right back into work after that.
Man.
So like lack of consideration was like a huge thing. That's something that I would look for in the future. And it comes in such small little things. Like for me, the small things are like what matter the most.
Yeah.
I don't care about like the big fancy stuff, whatever. I want the small, thoughtful things, you know?
Right.
Obviously respect and loyalty are like huge. I think those were obviously where the last relationship went left.
Right.
But there's little things that now looking back, being older, that I can pinpoint where it was like, that was like a red flag that I shouldn't have looked past, or like maybe I shouldn't have. I mean, I'm so blessed and so lucky to have my daughter, but if I could go back and have spent a little more time getting to know that person,
of course.
I think that would have saved me from a lot of what I went through.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
What's that?
Like just in general, like, because I've done it.
Yeah.
Everybody's done it. Where like we see red flags, but we're so busy like hoping that they grow out of it.
Yeah.
That we turn a blind eye to it.
We do.
And it just gets louder and louder and louder.
It gets
and you're like, damn.
so loud until God's like screaming in your face and it's like, you can't deny this anymore. Like, this is what it is, you know? And even when I turned my, my head and was like, I'm not going to pay attention to the cheating the first time, he came at me even harder 5 months postpartum with that situation. And that's when I was like, okay. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, especially when you have a child with someone. You start making every excuse. To try to make that work, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why I had forgiven the first time was because, like I said, I wanted so badly for my daughter to have that unit, that family unit.
I don't think you did. I think, especially with men, there's nothing wrong with forgiving, but I think it has to be a conditional forgiveness. Like, I need to see that when you hurt me, that it hurts you.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I did it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then it's like, nah, this is not forgivable because now I see that we're not connected like that.
1,000%.
Because men make mistakes, but it can't be where there's no empathy or compassion for the fact that you hurt.
And especially during, I'm going to put it out there. I think that cheating on a pregnant woman is one of the grimiest things that someone can do.
Grimy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is one of the most hurtful, grimiest things that.
It's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. Because I think it would be so much better and so much more respectable if you went to your child's mother and said, "Hey, I'm not happy in the relationship. I think that we should move forward from this point on, just trying to navigate what co-parenting would look like for us."
Yeah.
And I think our relationship even now would be 10 times better if he had just done that.
I can agree with that. Do you think that, so now that you're looking, he asked you what you're looking for. I don't know if you're actually looking for those things now, but when you did therapy, because I think there's still such a negative association with going to therapy, it's like you're weak and you need help. What was it helpful? Did it make you recognize anything about yourself that took you back to like, oh, I chose this man or this type of man because of this from childhood or because of the relationship and dynamic with my father? Was it actually related to the lack of something in your like young adulthood, or was it just a poor lapse in judgment on your part? Because I think that's part of the thing that people don't really discuss is like, oh, that dude, he's horrible. He cheated on me. It's like, well, why did you choose him? Did he really pull the wool over your eyes that much? Or did you just not qualify him the right way? Or were you attracted to him because you're wired to be attracted to this type of man? Like, did therapy help you recognize anything?
It did.
Like that?
So when she had pointed out, like I said, your grandmother was a single mother, your mother was a single mother, and now you're a single mother. That kind of made me, that was the one thing that she really said that still sticks with me to this day, because it kind of like, I kind of had to sit back in my seat and go, oh crap. Like, I chose someone that I knew was going to make me a single mom because that's all I've ever known, right? So I think that part of it was that I lacked having father figures for generations or a male figure in our house for generations. But I think a lot of it also had to do with how young I was and that I was just kind of like, I like this person and
let's just see what happens.
I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they'll change, So I think it was a combination of both, my lack of judgment and also, I don't want to say generational trauma, because again, I felt like I never really lacked anything because I never knew any different, but definitely there's some things subconsciously that, as a female you miss when there's not a male figure in your life.
Well, I think we all hope for the best.
That's all you can do.
That's all you really can do, and you just see how it ends, or see how it goes. One or the other is going to happen, and you just got to roll with it.
Exactly.
I will say, like, what helped me a lot, especially after my previous relationship, was studying like the human brain and intersexual dynamics. What I started to realize, like, generally speaking, if someone has certain character traits, it's so hard to change the brain chemistry and get it to do different things. So if it's an issue like honesty or temperament control, typically speaking, something extremely crazy would have to happen for them to change that.
Especially at a certain age too.
Exactly. After about like 21 to 24 or something like that, somewhere in that range, it's extremely difficult to change those parts of a person. So
Yeah.
for me, what I learned personally is if I learn that someone's temperament is not good, or if they have a vindictive spirit, that's not changing.
Yeah.
They can try to act nice and be performative for a while, but eventually once you hit some type of conflict, they're going to revert back to what they know. And I had to learn that the hard way. So I think now, you know, I would always tell anybody, when you're dealing with a person and they have certain traits and it's concerning like temperament, patience, or their inability to peacefully or respectfully solve problems, more than likely that's not going to change because of you. Sometimes I think we're like the difference maker. We're like, if I just keep loving on them, and it's like you can't change them.
That's my downfall. That's my downfall in relationships, and that's something that I've learned is that I'm a fixer. I want to fix, right? So like
nature.
if I see something where I'm like, ooh, like maybe if I show them this level of love or this type of love, then it will fix that
inspire
issue.
them to want to change,
right? Right, to want to treat me right or whatever the case may be. So I can agree with what you're saying on that.
Yeah, I my policy now, and AC's helped me so much. In this category,
so much better.
In this category, he's big bro. He's always had it down pat, which is like when someone shows you their true colors, believe it. It's simple. It's simple, but it's not easy. If they show that they're that type of person, don't think this is just a phase. It's believe that this is their character. Unless they do something like significantly and consistently to show you that that was just a moment.
Right.
But
or you see that they identified that they were acting a certain way.
Right.
Like, you can't call them out on it and then they say, oh, I'm gonna fix it. And it's like,
well, that's the thing too. Is like you
that's
can't.
just showing they are.
You can't fix something that someone doesn't want to fix about themselves. And to go off of what you're saying too, like my daughter's father, we have an 8-year age gap. So when I was 22, he was 30. So the things that I think was the downfall of our relationship were things that were too far gone.
He'd already been that before
it's who he is.
Yeah.
It's who he is. Yeah. With all respect.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is what it is.
It's a spade. It's a spade.
All right, guys, we're going to dive into the sexy or on sexy segment, motherhood edition. So we're going to ask Mother over here, Miss Gabby, some questions to see if she thinks it's sexy or unsexy, and we'll take it from there.
Sounds good.
All right. Question number 1.
Okay.
A woman who chooses not to have another child because she knows her limits, she knows her boundaries, and she wants to be present for the child that she has now.
Sexy.
That's so
Sexy.
easy.
We gave you an easy little layup. Boom. I mean, I agree that being responsible as a mom, knowing your bandwidth.
Yes.
And then also, you know, part of that is conditional on like making sure that if you do it again, it's with the right partner. So, you know, some women are like fans of motherhood more than they're fans of a healthy relationship.
1000%.
So they say, whatever man gives me this second child, and I think actually setting boundaries and knowing your limitations.
Oh, I know some people, some couples that are not in healthy relationships, but they don't want to have multiple baby mamas or baby daddies, so they end up having more kids with each other. And it's a broken home that I personally can't get behind. I still can't get behind that dynamic, but I know some people who do that. It's not for me. I'd rather be one and done and you know move past that. But
I agree for sure.
Okay, next question. A man who pressures a woman to have more children knowing she can't emotionally, mentally, or financially support them.
Not sexy.
Okay.
Not sexy. Because again, I feel like a lot of the responsibility of children fall back on mothers. In today's society, world, whatever you want to call it, I think being a father is a much more optional role than being a mother. So
I agree.
Not sexy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why like women make money such a big deal with this whole? Because hypergamy, for example, most women. The idea of hypergamy means that if a man is not making
X amount of money,
then I'm not even qualifying because they're looking at it from a procreation financial standpoint.
I don't know because I personally never really think about that when I'm in relationships. Money, I don't know. I've always
one of few.
Because out here, I've always handled things myself, even when it's gotten rough. So I don't know. Money can fix a lot of things, but when it comes to you know,
relationship itself.
It's not gonna. If that person's gonna cheat on you or they're gonna lie to you, they're gonna do that with money or without. Yeah.
True. And with that kind of money that the women in today's society are looking for,
they have more options too.
Yeah, and that man has so many options, and he's going to implement more control on that relationship because he can.
Right.
So like there's pros and cons to both sides.
And to bounce off of what you said, I've been told in, you know, my last relationship and also, you know, people that I've dated that I operate in a very like masculine standpoint because I'm usually the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's a hot topic.
It is.
Because here's the deal, like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Sometimes we punish women for being successful. And it's like, oh, you're the masculine, you're trying to do it. But for mature men that are like reasonable and confident within themselves, I think the main thing that men are afraid of is when a woman uses that power to emasculate him.
Right.
And I don't think you're that type of woman. I think the idea of a powerful woman should be, like, if she just happens to have more power than a man, is to empower him so that they can become at least equals.
Right.
But unfortunately, what I see in dating dynamics is the woman's more powerful, she's on a separate track, and she's like, figure out a way to catch up to me, or I'm not going to qualify.
Here's the other problem is people will associate power with money, and that's not, I've seen very weak individuals with money.
Yeah.
Yep.
That doesn't mean you're powerful because now you're using that power terribly just because you have money, and vice versa. I've seen very powerful people with no money walk into a room, they have presence, they have purpose, they know where they're going, and the money it's just a thing that will come in later. So money does not mean someone's powerful. So like for a woman to have money doesn't mean she has power over the man. She just has more money than him in that moment, or makes more money than him.
Right.
A man can be a good leader with or without.
Absolutely.
I agree.
If he's a good leader.
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna get to. Yeah. If he's a good leader. Yeah.
But I will say the caveat is if these two people don't worship money, because a lot of people do associate whoever makes more money with having more power and stuff because of the purchasing power. It's a form of power, but it doesn't make you powerful, right? But a lot of people, because they're superficial, materialistic, like, well, I make more money than you. I make $30,000 more.
Materialistic things can only get you so far.
Right.
I mean, like, back to the point of, you know, yes, it might be nicer to, you know, I'm sure people have heard this quote, it might be nicer to cry in a Rolls Royce or whatever, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to fix the foundation of what's wrong in the relationship.
That's right.
Yeah.
Next question. Part-time dad who wants full-time credit. What's that for? Is that sexy?
Not sexy. That is not sexy.
What? Okay, I'm gonna think of a two-part to this question on the spot. What if it's a part-time dad who wants full-time credit because he is pouring into the child and you financially, and he's working his ass off, so he doesn't really have the time to give because he is working hard enough to give money? Is it still like, hey, I'm part-time dad in person, but full-time dad financially? How does that make you feel? Is that unsexy as well? No.
I think that there needs to be a good balance of the two.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, let's say a man that makes a lot of money but is constantly gone from the home, yes, you're putting a roof over their head and giving them everything they want, but at the end of the day, those children and that wife are still going to be lacking that father figure in the home.
Absolutely.
So I would say it's not sexy, but it's, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a gray area.
There's pros and cons.
Because that's almost like child support.
Right.
It's like, not officially, but
correct.
Kind of not really around.
If you're not going to be in the home and not around because you're supporting, it's, yes, you're supporting financially, but you're not there in person for those kids. Yeah.
So would you take a man that struggled to support financially, did everything he could, but maybe, you know, couldn't make ends fully meet, but was fully present? Amazing father, but just couldn't.
I think I would rather take an amazing, like, fully present father who's going to devote everything that he possibly can, like, not financially, to a child versus someone who's just going to, like, throw money at you and basically tell you to shut your mouth. You know?
Yeah, they do tend to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
You see what I told you?
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I told you, right?
The sad thing is there are some relationships and marriages like that where it's like, here's your money,
sure.
like just
they use the money
don't
to
bother
cover
me.
up their iniquities.
Yeah.
It's like, and to a point, let's just call it be real. Like sometimes they can cover up some stuff, but when it gets louder and louder and louder, it's like the money can't cover
exactly.
that
Yeah,
you know?
Money's not everything.
It is not.
Yeah.
It's not everything, and that concludes the sexy or unsexy segment because we could have kept going. All right, sexy homework. Write down what being a parent really means to you. Are you chasing the fantasy, or are you actually ready for that level of responsibility? Make sure this is important. This is important, right? You're raising a little human, so make sure you're ready for that and see if you actually are. So, Gabby, you've said something that I heard on TikTok, and today you repeated it that I love, and you said, I don't think I'd be able to be the mom I am if I had more kids, which is why you said the one and done thing. Yeah. And that's really bold and intentional, and you're still very young compared to the old head sitting over here. So like, that's a very mature thing to say and recognize at your age. So I'd like for you to kind of expound on that thought process. And like you said, you might have kids later, you might meet Prince Charming, but you might not. Yeah. And so if you don't, tell women why it's okay and kind of what your mentality is around that.
So, you know, everyone always says when you have kids, like, oh my gosh, it's so much work, like your whole life changes. And while yes, I grasped like the baseline of that concept, it's completely different once you're actually in it and like living it. And then throw on top of that single motherhood, it's like a whole other level to it. So for me, and now knowing what it takes to raise my daughter and to be there for her every day, I know that I wouldn't be happy. She probably would be lacking parts of me if I went and had more kids. So as of right now, with it just being her and I don't crave to have another child. I think that, you know, motherhood holds a lot of weight, and I'm okay with that weight, but I don't think that I would be okay if I added more weight on top of that. Yeah. Right.
And I think that's dope because I feel like, you know, again, like we discussed earlier, people make lifelong decisions. Yeah. Like it's just whether or not you're going to go to the beach or the park. It's like, no, these decisions will stick for you probably for generations, right? Because
1,000%.
we're talking lineage. Yeah. So I think it's very, very important to make that decision responsibly. And I like the fact that you're balanced. Like you're not saying like, you know, that you're not like embracing motherhood. Like, yeah, that's the way to be. Because there are some single moms that's like, yeah, you can do it by yourself. Yeah. You're like, no, you can do it by yourself. You can. But also, I'm advising you to make the right choice and choose the right partner.
Oh, yeah, no. I tell people all the time, like, single motherhood is not glamorous. It's not something to be, like, glorified or, like, oh, my God, like, single motherhood, yay, you know. There's a lot of battles and, you know, ups and downs that you face. I mean, as simple as, like, when your child reaches a milestone and you're the only one there to recognize it, and you would so love to share that with the other parent, but they're not there because they're working or they're, you know, doing, it's not their day, whatever the case is. Like little things like that, and then, you know, just providing for that child and being there for them. It's a lot for one person. At the end of the day, it is a two-person job. Yeah, it is a two-person job. Minimally, yeah. For sure. Yeah, it really takes a village. Yeah, it takes a village.
I used to hear that and be like, no, it doesn't. My mom's doing it, but then you look at like she's again a unicorn. I don't know how she did it with two children by herself. Like it's wild to even think about. Props to mom. I love you, mom. But most women don't have the capacity to do that, or if they do, they struggle, or they fall into another trap because now they're trying to find another person to lean on or rely on to help them, and it's commendable that you're not doing that.
I think that was part of the reason why I'm okay with it being one and done is because I've been able thus far, thank God, to lean on my village and to also support myself as much as I possibly can, where I'm not seeking a man to come in and take care of my daughter and I. Right.
Yeah, I love everything you said. I think that the way you've accepted reality is kind of where I am. I'm almost 40. I don't have a marriage. I have no girlfriend. I have no kids. And I'm like, if I meet someone that I think would be an amazing mother and I can have a partnership with and it makes sense, I'd be open to having children. Right. But I would never say, oh, I don't want to have kids, but I've accepted that if that doesn't become my reality, it just isn't. Right. I have 3 beautiful goddaughters, Jaya, Gianna, London. I love you guys. So those are my daughters for now. You know what I mean? But like, I want it, but we don't always get what we want.
Right.
So it's like, if it doesn't come, I'm never going to force it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You won't force another child with a man just to have another child with a man.
And something I said in my video too is like, to have another child with another man, I mean, everything would have to align. They would have to be, perfect doesn't exist, but like damn near perfect for me to put myself in that position again. Because even though I have healed from it, there's still, you know, a lot of emotions that get brought up from going through something like that.
And you're being vulnerable yet again.
Yes.
With your body, with your mind, with your soul, your spirit, everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're saying, okay, I'm trusting you.
Yeah.
And then
hope for the best.
hope for the best. It's a big step. So yeah, I would understand him having to be close to perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into our Too Sexy segment. Essentially, we're going to use our CAPE model that was previously explained in some of our other episodes, and we're going to apply it to Gabby. We're going to break down each letter of the acronym and see how it applies to
Put her in the hot seat. Let's go. Tell the people what makes you confident. The C of CAPE.
Okay, what makes me confident?
Set the timer.
I think, to put it simply, is just like living in my truth. Like, there is nothing that anybody could throw in my face or say, you know, well, I'm going to share this about you. I live in my truth. So I'm an open book, and I'm confident in my story and journey.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that answer going with this next question. What makes you authentic?
Authentic,
because that's
intertwined.
Yeah. So like, again, living in my truth, and I have social media following where I like to share, you know, my journey, because there's other women out there who feel alone or feel like they're the only ones experiencing this, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And so I think that, you know, living in your truth and sharing those things, you know, holds power.
It's so much easier.
It's so much easier. Yeah.
I was joking with a friend the other day, and see, it was a white lie she told. It actually was to benefit me, right?
Yeah.
But it played out real time where like the lie she told was intercepted by the truth of me walking into this. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, did you just say such as? He was like, oh, you're here? Yeah. And I was like, see, my mom taught me at a young age, just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like we all,
it's so much easier to tell the truth than
you have to remember the lie.
I was gonna say
or exaggerate the lie.
Yes.
Or
keep it up. Yeah.
It's too much.
And then not only that, but the consequences of lying are so much greater than just telling the truth.
Absolutely.
And there could be conversations that are uncomfortable when telling the truth, but at least then after that you can go like this.
Yeah.
Versus lying, and then it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, let me make it up to you. Then you have
Yeah.
to try to gain their trust again. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, women's intuition is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even
try?
Why even trigger it? Because it's gonna turn on, and y'all will become Inspector Gadget.
Our dreams tell us.
Yeah. I used to think that was so crazy, but y'all all play with that.
Yeah.
So nah, just tell the truth, man, please.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so what makes you intelligent? The I.
Ooh. I think just learning, like, from life and from the cards that, you know, we're dealt with, and not making those same mistakes again, just really taking it for what it is. I mean, like, okay, let me break down where I could have possibly went wrong, because I think a lot of people are so...
Are you talking about
accountability?
Yeah. So
What?
yeah. So damn. So many people are so easy to throw the blame on others and not take a step back and be like, hey, where could I have gone wrong in this situation? And there are things that I have done that are not, you know, perfect or not great, but, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with that in the sense of
we're all human. We all make, you know,
accountability
mistakes.
is probably one of the sexiest traits I would look for in a partner.
Yeah.
But even outside of romance, just with friendship.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can say,
if someone's not accountable about, you know, I mean, it could be the simplest of things too. Like, hey, I'm so sorry I didn't check in on you today. I just had a really busy day myself, but like, I want you to know, like, I'm here for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, little things like that.
I saw this girl on social media the other day. She pulled out a timer and pressed it. And
about the text. Yes.
Like, hey, I'm really busy today, just thinking about you.
It took 3 seconds.
7 seconds or something like that, whatever it was. And it was like, when someone saying, hey, I was too busy to text you, then, come on now. First P of CAPE, presence. What about yourself makes you feel that you have presence when you walk in a room, or what do you think attracts people to you from your presence?
I think honestly it plays into the last 3 that you asked me. Just, you know, being confident in who you are or who I am, living in my truth. I'm an open book, so if anyone comes up to me and wants to ask me a question, like I have nothing to hide. And I think that resonates with a lot of people because so many people are used to putting like a facade up where it's like, oh, I have to be picture perfect or I have to, you know, sell myself, and it's like you don't actually have to do that. And when you do that, then you kind of attract the wrong people because you're selling a fake version of yourself. So I think
you can't uphold.
That you can't uphold because eventually
Right.
the truth comes out. So I think, you know, living in your truth and just being as authentic as possible is what draws people. Yeah.
So it's not the ginger hair, the fitness, it's not the slim it down, it's not the.
I mean, I think that definitely definitely catches people's eye, but it's not what's going to keep people there.
Retain them.
Yeah.
And last, I think I know the answer to this question, but what is your purpose?
Oh my God, just my daughter. My daughter is my purpose.
I already knew.
Yeah, that's like the number one thing in my life. Like,
as it should be.
Everything that I do is for her. I think everything that I do, I think about like, how is this gonna, you know, benefit my daughter? How is this going to affect my daughter? So yeah, my daughter is my purpose.
When you have true purpose, everything else falls in line.
Yeah.
So the fact that your daughter, that's why like when they always say like every good man has a woman behind him supporting him, or has like a wife or whatever. Like I think the same can be said for women, like having children. Like when you have a child, if you're a good mother, you now have purpose in life.
Yes.
Like it might not be your only purpose, but if you didn't have it beforehand, you damn sure do now with this child here, right? So it's like you're going to find everything else is going to just form around it because you have that. That reason for living.
Reason, yeah. She is my reason.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, people, sexy homework for you. Evaluate your cape energy. Are you parenting from pressure or are you parenting with purpose?
So you said something real, which is, you know, having a child is one of the most important decisions that you can make.
Yeah, and to expound before you answer, I feel like not enough people are treating it that way. Like they're just choosing co-parents based on vibes and chemistry. They're not even looking for like a forever partner or a father or a mother of my potential children. They're like, what's the vibes like? We have chemistry, and if we co-parent, we co-parent. It's almost like how people look at marriage now. It's like, let's get divorced if it doesn't work. And like, sure, you can, but you shouldn't be going into marriage with like divorce on your mind. If in 2 or 3 years you're tired of this person. That means you're not choosing wisely.
I think a lot of people take the easy way out, and that's, you know, leaving, infidelity, those things, because they don't actually want to do what it takes to stay in a marriage and to create that healthy marriage and unity. And that goes with, you know, choosing who you have kids with. It is one of the most important decisions that you make, and I think that's why I'm okay with, again, to bring it back, just one right now. Because it's such an important decision.
So obviously, like, Gem wasn't planned per se, but like when that happened, did you feel in that stage of life like, I think I made a good decision choosing him, or did you know then, like, fuck, I don't know if this was the man that I wanted this to happen with?
So I think I was in such like the honeymoon stage of things, and I was in love with him. I loved him. I still love him. He's my daughter's father. I'll always have, you know, care and respect for him as Gem's father, despite everything that we've gone through. So at the time, I did think that it was the right decision. However, like I said, as my pregnancy went on is when kind of the true colors came out, and, you know, the mask came off, and it was like, oh, okay, this is what we're in for. And I think I had said this earlier as well. I kind of started mentally preparing myself for what single motherhood would look like. And that's not what I wanted to do, but it was just kind of like, with what I was seeing and, you know, experiencing, I was like, okay, I have to prepare myself now if I want to not be like hit like a train when it happens.
Because in the honeymoon phase, you're dating the representative. You're not dating the real person. You're dating that sales pitch. So he got you.
But you know what? You know what?
But you got Jim. So who won?
He got you.
No.
That's gonna be amazing.
Oh my God.
Stupid. That's how it is, though. That honeymoon phase is hormones. Oxytocin is high, especially on women's side. Men spike a little bit, but women spike high. So women idealize what they're seeing, and then also some men, if they're manipulative, they're being performative too. So it's not just like illogical. It's
Yeah.
like, this is what I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff. So
No, it was absolutely what I was seeing, what I was experiencing at first, and then that slowly started to slip away. But I knew the moment that the 2 pink lines or the positive sign popped up on the pregnancy test, there was not a doubt in my mind that I wasn't going to go any other way about it but having that baby. I was 100% confident in my ability to be there for that child.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one last question, Gabby, before we wrap up. You've been great. Thank you.
Of course.
I'm a clown sometimes. Do you have any words of wisdom for the single mothers out there, right, that are like you, that are grinding and taking care of the responsibility on their own, or for people and women out there that want to become a mother, and how they should prioritize finding the right man and the right qualities before getting fooled by the honeymoon phase and dating the representative and thinking he's the right man? Like, what could you tell them that you could have done differently to avoid that? So I'll let you answer those.
For the people who are thinking about having kids with other people, I think that the most important thing to kind of wrap your brain around is that, especially for the women, is that no matter what, you have to be prepared to take care of that child. It is a lifelong commitment. And I think that so many people, like you said, kind of go into it with like, oh, it's like such a casual thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a big life-changing.
Not casual at all.
It's not casual at all. So I think, unfortunately, a lot of relationships and marriages don't last these days.
Yeah.
So having it in the back of your head that if things were to go left, would you be able to sustain everything or to show up for your child? Forget like the money, right? Just the day-to-day things that parents go through and provide for your kids, cooking meals, bathing, extracurricular activity. Like, are you ready to enter that chapter of life where you have to be selfless?
Yeah.
Because so many people don't understand the level of selflessness that being a parent takes. For the single moms that are out there, just keep doing your best. Your kids are going to know who was there, who showed up, who supported, who provided. And even though, when kids are young, they can't fully grasp the concept of it, or you might feel like you're not, someone's not coming and going, good job, keep going.
Yeah.
Kids know. They grow up, they know. I know about my mom. Like, even though, like I said, I have a great relationship with my father, I know that my mom was the one that held it down. She showed up for me every step of the way. She did the best that she could. And if you're a single mom, just keep going.
And to add on to that, which is beautiful advice for the women out there, like if you've gone through an experience like Gabby, my advice to you would be, please don't bash the man, because the kids will grow up, like she said, to see what he is or what he is not. You don't have to say what he's not.
Right.
They'll see it on their own, and you will look like the monster in the long run if the child comes around and starts to love their father and you talk shit about him for 15 years or 10 years or whatever it is. So it's like, let that man be who he is and show his colors and show how he's going to show up as a father for the child, and then let the child make the decision on what type of person that man is.
Yeah.
Don't manipulate the child into believing the reality that's because it's your reality, not
and
the child's.
That's something that I've worked really hard on with my daughter, is allowing her to experience her father for herself. Yeah. My experience is not her experience. All she knows is that she loves her dad. She gets excited when he comes and picks her up for visits. I've never once told her, daddy hurt mommy, or, emotionally, not physically, or, things like that. I want her to have that, curate her own experience based off of her own reality with him. And I think that's so important, because there are a lot of moms out there that will, try to control the situation and to be quite honest, I did that at first too, because I was so hurt and so traumatized and had such bad trust issues and all of that, where I was trying to control the capacity that he was showing up at. Like, I wanted him to show up the same way that I was showing up.
Sure.
And I knew that if I just took a step back and allowed him to just show up the way that he could and the way that he chose to, my daughter would be able to dictate that for herself later on.
Because control is an illusion. You can't control another human. I had this conversation with my sister's a therapist, and I was like, asking her about control. The only thing you can control is
yourself
behavior,
yeah.
and barely your behavior, which was the point I was making to her. Your subconscious sometimes even has a control or like a hold over the movement you have in the day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
you might not even understand why you're angry or frustrated, but it's a thought from a week ago or a year ago or and you don't even know that it's there, but it's there.
Right.
So can you even control your behavior? Can you really control your thoughts? It takes a next level
takes a lot
of like meditation and prayer and connection to God to be able to control even yourself.
Yeah.
So you damn sure can't control another individual.
Nope.
That's what I said. Believe what you see and either make the decision to accept what you see or not accept what you see and move past that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And men and women out there, this is what accountability sounds like.
Yeah.
You hear it again, like we know what the father of her child did not do, but she also saying what she didn't do or what she tried to control. And we just said control is an illusion. So she's like, hey, I did do this at the beginning because I was hurt and I was like, as a woman or as a mother or as a man, like it's your responsibility to take accountability when you know that you played a part.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like she played a huge part in what happened, but she's still even in the co-parenting.
It was a reaction. It was a reaction to what was going on, but I still didn't take the higher road at first because a lot of it stemmed from trust issues. I felt like if he could do X, Y, and Z to me, what could he doesn't have meaning mine and my daughter, our best interest.
Absolutely.
So that it took me it took me quite a few months, like the first year of her life to really step back and be like, okay, that's her dad at the end of the day. You have to trust that, he has her best interest. And as long as she's happy coming back from her visits happy and, everything else, then I'm okay with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Before we continue, this episode is brought to you by mentalhealthcards.com. Trust me, these aren't your average affirmations. These are conversation starters, whether it be for you, your family, friends, spouse, kids, because sometimes the hardest part of healing is knowing how to talk about it.
That's real. And the thing is, these cards are actually a gentle, non-invasive way to actually open up without feeling like you're in a therapy session.
Exactly.
They're sexy, they're smart, they work.
All right, Gabby, tell the people where to find you for training, for TikToks or whatever.
On Instagram and TikTok, they can find me at Gabi Mendozza, Gabi, and then 2 Z's with Mendoza.
Love it, love it. All right, check her out. She's an incredible mother, obviously, as you guys have heard, and an incredible human, right? And that's really what matters most, is just how you show up every day. So if you're an incredible human, then you can be an incredible mother. So reach out to her for inspiration, training, or tips. All right.
All right, so to conclude, let's be clear. Being a mom isn't about the number of kids, it's about the quality of connection. Guys, I hope that you guys took some, knowledge from this, some wisdom from this, whether you're a single parent, co-parenting with someone, whether you're seeking romance, whatever your dynamic is, I really, really hope you guys found value from this. Please like, subscribe, and comment to the page. We can use your help because we want to grow and help expand the knowledge of what it is to grow.
Absolutely want to grow with you guys together, right? This is Secrets of Sexy, where we celebrate motherhood and we redefine what living a full life really feels like. Peace.
Peace.